Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies, a podcast about people sharing extraordinary stories about how music has impacted their lives.
Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies. I'm your host, Annette Smith, and today's guest, we tried to do a podcast, a year ago. I didn't click record, so he's graced me with his presence again, and that's the great Kevin Joly. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're going to learn a lot about Kevin, so I don't want to give a big introduction. But before I get started, Kevin, what was your experience putting your playlist together a year ago for me?
I'm trying to remember what was on that playlist. It's one of those things, like, you're more of a music person than I am, but and I, if we were to play Name That Tune, I wouldn't probably be able to name 2 or 3 out of 100. But and last night I was at an event and there was a band guy and he was asking me about all the instruments, and I got cymbals and drums. That's all I could name out of the whole thing. He thought I was joking. I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff, but no, it was fun. Going through and picking some fun songs, and so you'd probably have to remind me what they were. But
no, you'll get a reminder.
Perfect.
All right, we're gonna start with your first song. I think this one's gonna bring back a lot of memories for you.
Oh, Def Leppard. This is back in elementary school.
Hey, back when you were young, picking up the ladies.
I don't know if I was doing that in elementary, but definitely thought I was something.
Was there a certain time that this, you just loved Def Leppard back then? Yeah,
I think growing up, I kind of liked Def Leppard. Beastie Boys were kind of like the songs back then, so that's kind of what I liked. So.
Yeah, what kind of guy were you in elementary?
What do you mean, like jock-wise?
Yeah, like were you a jock? Were you super popular, a stoner?
Yeah, I was more of a jock, I think. I guess I was somewhat popular. Some of the teachers liked me, some of them hated me. So.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
I did. I believe he was my grade 5 teacher. He was actually a gymnast. I think his name was Randy Falk.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was a super nice guy, athletic guy. So obviously he liked all the athletes. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then high school, same.
Yeah, I think junior high was where I was kind of lost. In between friends, didn't really know what I wanted to do, but then high school, like grade 11, grade 12, I think I got all my confidence back, and yeah.
So. What was kind of like the most difficult thing that you experienced in high school?
In high school?
Yeah.
Well, I think for me it was because I was doing sports, I was gone a lot of the weekends, and so obviously I missed a lot of the parties.
Yeah.
Or the extracurriculars, so it was hard to make all these guys would come on Monday or Tuesday and talk about all these fun things they did on the weekend, and I was competing. So which was still fun and it was still awesome, and I wouldn't trade it. But I think I missed a lot of the partying growing up that a lot of people got. So that's probably the hardest part looking back. But
were your parents super strict or
no?
No,
we never had curfew. We never had. It was more of a respect thing.
Yeah.
We were always allowed to drink. We were always allowed to do whatever. Like I remember even as a 12 or 13-year-old having a drink of my dad's beer. It was never a big deal.
Yeah.
And we never had a curfew. It was always, hey, if you're going to be out past, and they would just tell me a time, 10 o'clock, midnight, depending on how old I was. Make sure you text your phone, or and don't get in a car with someone drinking.
Yeah.
It's kind of what were the only rules. So. Because I didn't have any rules, I never really generally stayed out that late.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I didn't have to stay out till midnight. So I was tired, I'd go home at 10, right? So it was kind of nice that way where, we never really had any rules per se, but there was always a respect thing that my dad and mom, expected of us, but.
Yeah. I love your mom and dad. Bane, I'm going to kick your ass. I love your parents so much. What is one thing that you learned from your dad and one thing you learned from your mom?
From my dad, I remember this. It used to drive me absolutely bonkers. He'd every time there would something go down, he'd be like, "I've taught you not to be a sheep. Don't ever be a sheep. Always be a leader. Never just follow the crowd. Be a leader. And it would just drive me nuts because I'm like, I am But in hindsight, I see what he was trying to accomplish, and hopefully it worked. But and with my mom, I think her just level of compete Yeah, my dad had it too, but my mom was just like, she's just a dog on a bone. Like, she just will not let anything go. Like, she wants to lead, she wants to fight, she wants to be an example, she wants to do all of those kind of things. But it was weird. My mom was in the corporate world, my dad was a teacher. Oh. So I actually grew up more with my dad than my mom. Because my mom would be working during the summers, and my dad would be off with us. So we ended up traveling with my dad a lot more. We ended up obviously doing way more things with my dad than I did with my mom, which I don't know, maybe it's role reversal. I don't really know, but
that's why you're such a sensitive guy.
I guess. Yeah.
All right, next song. Are you ready? Oh, there's so many stories you could share.
Oh yeah, this is a song from your wedding, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I threw it in there. Thought you'd like that.
That's right. Me and Kevin did a wedding dance at our wedding that probably should never be shared to the world ever.
No, and it's amazing Tyler didn't leave you during that song, or Sylvia didn't leave me. It's like, whose wedding is this?
Oh my God. What was your first job ever?
My first job ever, I mean, obviously I did like newspaper delivery, but it was more like the Thursday Shopper, I think it was called. So I did that because I couldn't really hold a job doing sports that much, but I remember delivering papers for a little bit. But my first kind of real job, I did dishes at a place called Luigi's. Oh. And my buddy's dad owned it, and I just did dishes, making $5 an hour. So if there was a Thursday night, Friday night that I was actually off or home, or Saturday night, I'd go in and work there. So
yeah. Do you have a job that you had growing up that you absolutely hated?
Well, I did a couple jobs that I didn't really like. One of them was roofing. So one of my buddies actually owned a roofing company. So while I was in university in the summers, I would do roofing, and that's horrible. That's a horrible job.
Did you experience with pot when you were roofing?
No, not really. But there would be some Friday afternoons we'd start drinking, so the roof would be really nice, and then it would start to wave as the day went on. But no, I never really got into any drugs, or I never really was around it just because of the sports, I think.
Yeah.
I was more around like oxy and steroids, and those kind of things were way more prevalent in my life than just because of injuries or guys trying to, win. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was, so performance enhancing drugs were more prevalent than I would see that a lot more than I would see, like regular drugs, like weed or cocaine.
When did you start, like, when did you get introduced to judo? How did that kind of come about? Like, who suggested it? Why did you pick that sport?
So my brother is 3 years older than me, and so we grew up in Lethbridge. And so in Lethbridge, it's kind of an interesting history with the World War II. They moved all the Japanese into Lethbridge to work on the sugar beet farms, and all the concentration camps were there. So when the war ended, all the Japanese stayed, or a lot of them did. And so it just so happens at the time, Lethbridge had the #1 karate instructor outside of Japan and the #1 judo instructor outside of Japan.
Wow.
So in Lethbridge. So Lethbridge had the Olympic Training Center for judo, and it still does. But so I was too young at that. My brother started karate, but you had to be like 8 years old, and I think I was 5. And I was too young to start karate, but I was able to start judo. So my parents said, well, we got to do something with this guy. So they threw me into judo just because it was the only thing that would accept me at my age. And then, there was times I wanted to quit. There was times I thought about it, but my parents always had the rule that just finish the season and then decide.
Yeah.
And every time I'd finish the season, I just kept going. And then, I actually got pretty good at it.
So do you excel very quickly through judo, or is it like, how do you go from belt to belt?
I mean, I think it depends on when someone starts. But I started so young that I think it was just a long journey. I think I got my first degree black belt when I was 17. 16 or 17 years old. It's posted in Lethbridge. I could go look at it, but and then another 2 or 3 years I got my second degree black belt, and then I could have got my third and fourth, but I just didn't bother.
Yeah. So what's the hardest move in judo?
Well, landing on your head.
Yeah.
Is probably the worst one.
What would be like? Do you see a lot of arms and legs being broken?
Yeah. There's arm bars, chokes. I mean, a lot of knee surgeries that end up happening, but I think a lot of concussions is probably the biggest.
Yeah.
Because you're landing on your head a lot. or you're colliding heads, or you're doing that kind of stuff. So.
How many judo moves do you use on Sylvia?
I used to try to take her down, and then she'd pull my leg hairs. That was her defense move. It really hurts.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, next song.
A little Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I've always liked Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, incredible band, right?
Yeah.
We've seen them together.
We went
yeah,
live to watch them. Yeah, he was a little bit more washed up when we finally got to go see him, but
he could barely fit his leather jacket on, but
yeah.
he still had that
He
white.
had the tight pants on. A little aggressively tight, but
Yeah, like I feel like when I was growing up, I feel like he stuffed his pants.
he might have. I never really noticed.
Maybe he just has really big balls.
He might.
Right, it's a lot.
Moose knuckle pants.
What was your very first concert that you ever went to?
I never really went to concerts growing up. I remember my brother won tickets to go to something in Edmonton. It was like one of the radio station ones, and I don't even know who was playing. It was all like kind of alternative music. I think it was The Bear in Edmonton that had a contest, and my brother won some tickets, so I went with him. I didn't know any of the bands. I mean, it was fine. But my first real concert was Metallica in Toronto.
Yeah, how was that?
That was awesome. Yeah, they did an amazing job. So that was, geez, that's probably 10, 15 years ago. And then we went to Guns N' Roses, and I've been to Snoop Dogg. You know, been to some of those kind of concerts now. I've been to
like Mickey Avalon.
Been to Chainsmokers. I've been to Swedish House Mafia. So
What's been your favorite?
I think Metallica was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just bought tickets there and flew to Toronto, or?
No, I ended up going with one of the investment companies and in
Okay.
a box and stuff like that. So it was,
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's been one of your, I know you've traveled the world. What's been one of a trip that's really stood out for you?
I mean, there's probably been a couple. I mean, my favorite place to go is Hawaii.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to choose, I'd probably just choose Hawaii again. But, obviously being in Japan was really, really cool. Just seeing that kind of stuff.
The culture.
The culture and just it's kind of weird. It's like a third world and first world country, depending on which block you're on.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting, obviously, place.
What was the most interesting thing you ate there?
I remember there was a fish on there. There was a little fish and it was still breathing. You had to eat it while it was still breathing.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, that's a little much. But
Did you? You didn't
well,
do
you
it?
do it. Yeah, I mean, there's peer pressure.
Yeah. I love it. All right, next song.
Yeah, Linkin Park. Yeah, I've always I liked them actually when I started in university, and I don't know why. I think most of their songs sound very similar, but I just really like them. So.
What is one of your, do you have any funny stories from university? Like something maybe crazy you guys did, or?
Just trying to think. University and.
Or were you a good guy the whole time?
No, I mean we would go to parties. Like I remember I had a buddy of mine, and we hung out all the time. We still do, but he was living at home with his mom, and his mom was pretty hard ass. And I remember it was St. Patrick's Day one year and a massive snowstorm, and he sold her on this idea that he was going to go to the library, and I had an apartment at the time, and we ended up going to some party, and his mom was phoning my mom all night long, trying to find us, and my mom was pissed. Because she's like, you guys are 20 some years old. What is happening? Why is this guy's mom waking me up all night long? What? He's 20 years old. Why did he have to say he's going to the library? He's not a 16-year-old girl going bowling or, So
Yeah.
it was that was pretty funny that night. We both woke up at 8:00 in the morning. And I swung by my mom. My mom's losing it. I'm like, what? She's like, Darren. His name's Darren. His mom's been phoning. And I'm like, oh man. So we just went to the university, showered, and went to class.
Were you a ladies' man in university? Did you date a lot?
Not really. I kind of had a steady girlfriend for at least 2 years of university. That's actually who I moved to Calgary for.
Oh.
She ended up moving to Calgary, and then I ended up moving here too. And then we broke up, and I stayed, and she didn't. But
Was there a reason why you broke up?
She was a little bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah. She ended up over time overdosing and
Oh, wow.
passing away, but yeah, so that explained a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a stalker?
I don't think so.
Nobody's ever stalked you before.
I know, it sucks. You know, I kind of like, why not? Right?
What do you think that girl that bought your picture
Oh yeah.
is doing with that picture?
Yeah, hopefully it's lost.
Good thing that money was going to charity.
That's right, it was a charity thing.
All right, next song. We could fast forward this part.
This is all the machine gunning. Yeah, Metallica 1. I think this is the best song probably ever made.
Yeah, you do?
I think so.
Yeah.
Probably how they put it together. It's probably, one of the best ever.
The video is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie?
I'm kind of like, I've always liked the Top Gun movies.
Yeah.
And the Rocky movies. So.
Do you like the new Top Gun, like
I
Maverick?
Do. Yeah, I really do.
Were you impressed by it?
I was. Yeah, they did a really good job, and I'm glad they put so much time in between too, because we could be at Top Gun 7 by now, with how Tom Cruise runs movies. So
That is very true.
yeah.
And he still looks good too.
That's right. I think that's just Scientology just helping him out, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Do you have any man crushes? Like, if you could be any star actor, like, who would you like to be?
Well, I always thought Brad Pitt was
Yeah.
pretty handsome dude.
Yeah. And you feel confident in saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. Most guys would be like, meh.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose, it's like it could
Like,
be
if you were a woman for a day and you could sleep with Brad Pitt, you would.
Sure, probably. Yes. If I was a woman for a day, I'd be putting out.
Yeah. What's the first thing you would do if you were a woman for a day?
Huh. I'd probably play with my boobs.
Yeah, just sit there on
just
the
be like,
bed and be like,
just hang out with me for a bit.
Who is Sylvia's hall pass?
Who is Sylvia's hall pass? You know what's funny? She said something the other day. I'm trying to remember who it was. On Thanksgiving, she said, she was like, "Oh yeah, I really like that guy. He's my, or whatever, my get out of jail free card or something." But I can't remember what we were watching. Oh, Hugh Jackman. That's who it was.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
I know, Wolverine. But we were watching The Greatest Showman. But yeah, she said Hugh Jackman, and I said, she's like, who is yours be? I'm like, the neighbor. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, whose would yours be?
I've always liked Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. She's always been my number one.
Yeah, so is it from the movies?
What do you mean?
Like, is that why you like her?
Well, yeah,
like,
I wouldn't know her.
No, I mean, like, is it from, like, her aggressive kind of, what's that movie called? I'm trying to
Underworld.
Underworld.
Yeah, obviously,
is that when
Black Leather was nice.
Yeah, for sure. Paint on your clothes. I love it. It's awesome. So no stalker. Okay,
I don't think
so who do you like better, me or Corey?
Who do I like better? Well, it depends on my mood, actually.
Yeah, it does?
Well, yeah.
Okay, walk me
if I'm
through
feeling
this.
like, I'm just kind of a little bit down and I just need someone to try to give me some hope, there's Corey. But if I want to have some fun, it's probably you. Okay? So, depends on my mood.
Depends on your mood. I like it. I like it. This is a great song.
Oh.
The beginning?
Yeah.
Hypnotized. You're a big rap guy though.
I am, yeah, I do like rap. Yeah.
So, like, new rap, or were you into, like, NWA?
Yeah, I would say more NWA, like Dr. Dre, Eminem, him, Tupac, that kind of area. Versus the new stuff, unless it's got a really good, catchy tune, a lot of it's kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's fairly degrading.
Yeah, it's a lot of anger.
Yeah, like, I feel like if you just, like, bought studio time and you could just go on and say, like, bitch, pussy, whore, suck my dick, I think you would have a hit.
I think so.
Like, you could throw some, like, in there, and, like, we could
and I feel like the women rappers now are even meaner.
Yeah. It's like, well, we'll show you.
Yeah, they're trying to outdo everyone, but...
So do you have a theory how Tupac died? Did you ever, like, think about that?
I've seen the documentaries. I heard they just arrested some guy.
Just recently?
Just recent, yeah.
Oh.
Like the Vegas just reopened the case and they arrested one of the shooters.
Oh, wow.
And I guess, and he was saying that he got paid by someone with Biggie Smalls, but I just feel like those, like from everything I can see, those guys seem like they were somewhat friends.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of these JFK things. I mean,
who knows?
Yeah.
So I heard today, which was so random, that J.P. Morgan had an identical ship like the Titanic.
Really?
And that right before the Titanic took off, he switched the ship, painted it identical like the Titanic, and that's the ship that went down, and he didn't get on that ship, and all his business partners were on that ship and all went down with the ship. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
That's from Joe Rogan, though. So
yeah, could
you
be
know,
something crazy. Not sure it's 100%
you
true.
never know.
I did go to the Lego store at West Edmonton Mall, and they have a Titanic, and because it doesn't fit fully in the glass, they've actually broke it in half. And and my daughter, I'm like, that's pretty accurate.
That's crazy to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. You just went on a trip with your daughter.
I did, yeah.
How were the water slides?
They're interesting.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big day to do wave pools and water slides, and
yeah.
I was exhausted.
Like, how many times do you think you went down?
I don't know, 5 to 10 different rides, but a lot of those you have to carry tubes up too.
Oh.
It's a lot of stairs. I was like, they should be a central elevator. That gets
Like
you
one of
down
those
the rides.
slide machines,
Yeah,
you just hold on
stand
to
onto it, and
Yeah.
it just runs you up to all this. So there's a lot of stairs.
So you didn't sit on the sidelines and have beer when she was doing that?
No, I was participating in all the events with her.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. You're a good dad that way. All right, ready?
All right, now this is how you close the bar every night. All right, this is the last song of the night.
This is where you hope that
Yeah.
the lights stay off.
Yeah,
Because you don't want the lights to come on when you're leaving.
that's right, because you just don't know what she really looks like.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to pull a card? I haven't
Any
did
card?
these. Yeah, I haven't did these ones. These are other people's questions that they've that they've got me to ask the guests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you like to get your toes sucked?
Oh, do you?
No,
You're not a big fan.
not a big foot guy, no.
No.
That seems odd to me that
It
someone
does.
would be into that at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What about, would you give up oral sex or cheese for the rest of your life?
I have seen this video, but I mean, cheese does give you the farts, but oral sex does hurt my jaw.
Yeah.
So
So you would give up.
I'd probably give up oral sex.
Okay,
Giving it or
ladies.
getting it?
That's right. Giving it. Giving it.
Yeah, I'll give up that.
All right, you want to try another card?
Okay.
Okay, flip the deck. Oh, no,
Alright,
these
let's
always
see.
make me laugh. Uh-oh. Scary.
Would you ever sleep with Ron Jeremy? No, there's too much shadow.
I've never, have you ever seen a Ron Jeremy porn?
I don't know if I have
I don't
actually.
think I have either.
I'm not even sure I want to. He seems like the Penguin from Batman.
I know, but I heard he has like a massive
Yeah, I
penis.
have heard that. Is
I
he
think-
dead now?
I don't know if he's dead. I don't think he's dead.
Oh.
I think he slept a lot with Tracy Lords, maybe. Maybe they never did, but I could see those two are like old school
Yeah.
porn stars that were super popular back then.
Yeah, I don't understand because he's not a good-looking dude.
No, he's not.
Has anyone said yes to that?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's always been men that have.
Oh, okay. So
None of the
men said
women have
yes.
ever picked that, so I've
Oh.
never experienced that. What kind of porn do you like to watch?
What kind of porn do I like to watch?
Like, are you just like go in there,
Yeah, kind of just slide around,
Yeah.
see where you end
but
up.
you're not like, okay,
No.
I want big asses,
No.
black women
No.
with skinny dudes.
No,
No,
I've
you
never,
don't have,
never,
like, a
never
total-
written that up.
A total description of what's up
I'm gonna
there.
try that, see what comes up.
You might not like that.
Yeah.
All right, next song. Oh, Skid.
Skid Row. We were supposed to go
I know.
on Thursday, but I think they rebooked to March.
They did. I seen that.
Okay, so
I was
we'll
so
get
upset. I
tickets
was so
for that.
upset. So Sebastian Bach, Vince Neil, or Axl Rose. Who would you like to be for a day?
Probably Axl Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. See what.
Is it the dancing? Like you just want to be a better
see if I
dancer?
can do that move with the mic.
I was thinking.
And I'd go, but I wouldn't be them today. Like, I'd like to go back, like, 25
Oh,
30
yeah,
years
not
ago.
today.
Yeah, just see what a day in the life is.
That's right. And I feel like those guys lived rock and roll, like every part of it. They used and abused women, drugs, alcohol, everything. Nowadays, I think people are like too scared to do any of that.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think...
look at all the stars that are getting, arrested nowadays from whatever, having girls in their tour buses. Those guys they used their influence, but not in a sense as like, hey, they were just like, hey, I'm Vince Neil, we're going to have sex. You're probably cool with that. That'd be awesome. Let's go do that. By the way, Rebecca's outside waiting to come and have sex too, so I'm going to hurry up because I need
to wrap this up.
Like, I feel like they were just open about that.
Yeah, I think so.
And now I just feel like everything that's
media.
coming out, it's like kind of creepy. Like that guy from that 70s show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw something on him. Like, he
raped some girl and he got sentenced the other day, and his wife filed for divorce and wanted full custody of, I think, their 9 or 11-year-old or whatever. And I'm like, and you're shocked? Yeah. Like, I'm still surprised that they said you guys were married. Like, during the trial, she might want to go,
yeah, I think I'm done.
You know what? Yeah. I don't mind putting a little bit of extra on you. Here's the divorce papers as well, right?
Yeah, wait till the end.
And she wants nothing to do with, like, any of his money or nothing, like, totally walking away, which is kind of crazy. What a weirdo.
Yeah, that is weird. Like, you think, I don't know, that just seems odd to me.
There's weird people out there. Yeah. That's weird. All right. Kid Rock, here we go. Have you ever seen Kid Rock live?
No.
Me neither. Always wanted to.
I bet you he'd be a fun party.
He would be. So is there a story behind this song?
Not
Greatest
really.
Show on the Earth?
No, I just, sometimes when you're, trying to get things going and like, all right, I'll just be the greatest show on earth.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you have any big fears?
Big fears?
Yeah.
I mean, I think my biggest fear is to be a nobody.
Yeah.
Not matter in people's lives. I think that's probably my biggest fear. Never to live up to what I could do.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably it.
I like that. You have 2 girls.
2 daughters, yeah.
What have they taught you over the last 3 years? Because they're starting to get a little rambunctious. One is a teenager. The other one acts like a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
For sure, because it's like, all right, it's sometimes we think that, even in our business, we want these people. We can see what people are capable of, but we don't give them time to grow into that. So I mean, you try to do that with your kids too, is give them some time to grow into and learn. And I think the hardest part is letting them make the mistake while you're watching.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I could have probably saved you some time here, but
yeah,
they don't learn that way. So
what are you gonna do when they start dating? Like, are you nervous about that?
I mean, my oldest is kind of gone on a couple little dates here and there. For me, it's more the broken heart part.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like that's all the time. Like, oh, he doesn't like me anymore, or this or that. And it's like, and you want to tell him, I mean, in grade 8, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? But when you're in it, I mean, it's the be all end all.
Yeah.
So.
Have you ever had your heart broken?
I have.
Yeah?
Yep. Probably probably the first one was my grade 12 girlfriend. She broke up with me, and that one hurt. But in hindsight, I mean, sweet. A blessing.
So how long were you guys together for?
We were together for probably 10 or 11 months. So I pretty much dated her the whole grade 12. And only other one, there was only one other one that was like, I dated her in grade 11, and she's the one you still wonder about.
Yeah.
Like the one that kind of got away, or the one that, and I actually broke up with her, but, that's the one I still wonder about some days.
Yeah. Did you do any stalking when Facebook came out? Remember when Facebook came out and you could go reconnect with all your friends?
Not really. Not really.
No.
I mean, we're busy and we just don't care that much. Yeah.
So I have a question here. It says, shortest hour of time before you slept with somebody. So you slept with somebody, and then how long after that person you slept with another person?
6 hours.
6 hours.
My guess.
Did you just add a couple hours to that, or
6?
you feel confident with that
I think
answer?
I'm pretty confident with that answer. Could have been 8.
So what sex act do you feel like you're best at?
Finishing.
You're a closer.
I'm a closer.
So is Tyler. So ridiculous. Oh, I love it. All right. I love that song. That is totally your song.
Yeah, so they play it quite often when I come on stage, so.
Yeah. What motivates you to work hard?
I think just like back to the fears of,
Yeah.
you know, like I want to, you know, I don't want to be like everyone else. You know, I don't want to be in the pack. I want to be ahead of the pack, or I want to separate myself somehow.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is that, you know, fear of being left behind, you know, fear of missing out,
Yeah.
FOMO, all of that kind of stuff is probably what drives me the most.
Yeah. Well, how would your friends describe you?
I don't know. You should get them in here. I don't know. How do you describe it? Huh?
Like, do you, like, honestly, I think you're super loyal.
Yeah, I think that's probably one. I'm loyal to my friends. I mean, I believe I'll be there when they need me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not always around, but if someone needed me, I'd pretty much be there.
Yeah. You're a good listener.
Yeah, I think.
You're fun. You're humorous.
I think I don't get them on their emotional runs
Yeah.
with them, which probably helps them. Because, you know, sometimes you can get, you know, your friend and he's going through something, so you want to go through it with them.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'll go through it with you, but I'll help you get through it, so I'm not going to get on the roller coaster.
Yeah. What do you think is the most challenging thing people go through in our business?
In our business?
Yeah. Like, where do you see the stagnant? Like, they're stuck. Why do you think that they're stuck?
Well, I think drifting is a huge thing in human nature. I think that we get... I don't care what you're doing. Like, it's easy just to get caught, like, and just kind of, you know, it's like driving on deerfoot. You're not even paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to just go through life not paying attention. So I think that's probably the biggest reason most people get stuck. They don't even realize they're stuck, and 2 years have passed.
Yeah.
And I'm just speaking from experience on that one. But I think the other thing is this idea that, can I do it? I think it's just a personal belief that you can, and I've always had this belief that I don't care what I'm doing, I think I could do it. You know, if I want to become a mechanic, I could become a mechanic. I don't know anything about cars, but other than I know how to drive them.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with running a business. I don't know anything about running a business, but I'm sure I can run it. Especially if I hang out with people that are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I figure, and I always like, and I think the last mistake a lot of people make is they pedestal people. They look at someone that's got all this success and they're like, wow, I could never be that. As soon as you can never be that, you never will. Right? So instead of realizing, no, these are just normal people that have either worked harder or didn't drift longer or just been here longer than me, or, you know, put in more time or.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's learnable.
Yeah, I'm reading that Born to Win right now. I've read it years ago, and I think it was like chapter 9 that I just finished reading last night. It says you have to believe to win. You have to, like, believe it, and you were just saying it. Like, I believe that I'm going to win. I believe I can be a mechanic. I believe I could do this, right? And all the how will come. So.
Yeah, and I expect to win.
Yeah.
I expect to get the promotion, or I expect that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So when it does happen, so I mean that's also a negative, because when it does happen, I expected it to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't really
celebrate it.
I'm not great at celebrating the small wins or even the big wins, because I just expect to get them.
Yeah.
Like, even when we talk about good news, it's like, well, it's not good news, it's news. I expect it to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's my job. You know, and I think that's where a lot of people get lost. As soon as you have control, and that's why a lot of people can't be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
As soon as they have control, they can't control themselves.
That's true.
So and now I'm gonna stay at home. Now I'm gonna sleep in. Now I've got, I have a sniffle. Yeah, but you were gonna go to your job. If you had a job, what were you gonna do? Oh, I have a sniffle, I'm not coming in. Like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. Or
I didn't sleep great last night. Or my wife wants me to run to the grocery store. I'm like, I'm an adult. I have a job. Like, can't run to the grocery store at 2 in the afternoon. That's not how it works.
No, it doesn't work.
And
that
so
way.
I've always related to what would I do if I was working at the hospital, or what would I do if I had a 9 to 5, or what would I do if I was working downtown in oil and gas? You'd go. So why wouldn't I go now?
Yeah.
All right. And so, yeah, just allow your bank account to be your boss.
That's right. I like that analogy. All right, my favorite band in the world,
Oh, Motley.
Motley.
This is Hot Tub Time Machine.
That's such
One
a
of the
great-
best movies ever.
Yeah, it is such a good show. I love that show. We seen him at this, what was it, Comedy Festival Supreme on the Santa Monica Pier, and he just had like a piano, but just like whatever they're called, a small one, and he just sat there. I'm not even kidding you, for an hour, and just said, "Take your panties off, take your panties off," for a whole hour. He just did that for a whole hour, sweating, and we were like, "What is happening?"
Like he
It's
got
like
caught in a
all-
loop.
Yeah, it was like all these comedians, but that's literally what he did, and we were like, "Oh my god, that's so crazy." Do you collect anything? Are you a collector?
I am not really a collector.
Not at all.
No, I do have a lot of shoes and a lot of jackets, I guess. I think that just, like over time you just collect shoes because,
Yeah.
Like as an adult you're not growing out of them. So until you kind of they eventually work to doing lawn,
Yeah.
those shoes, and then eventually they get thrown out. So you end up collecting a lot of shoes and jackets. We end up getting given a lot of jackets.
Yeah, we sure did.
So I ended up giving away a lot of stuff like that over the years.
Yeah.
But that seems to be my collections, shoes and jackets. But
What-
no, I used to collect hockey cards as a kid.
You don't do it anymore.
No, I still have them though.
So do I. I have a ton.
Yeah.
That
I
whole
got
case back
boxes.
there is full of
Yeah.
them.
I got boxes and boxes and
I
boxes.
keep thinking one day I'm going to open them up and I'm going to
Yeah.
have like $6 million in there, but then I go look and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
$20.
Yeah, it's not worth even the 500 to or
Yeah.
whatever it's to actually physically move it.
So you're married?
I am.
How long you been married for?
It's almost 17 years, I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you love most about Sylvia?
Well, she does put up with a lot of
Yeah.
my nightmare.
Yeah.
And she has, in her ways, throughout the years, supported my business where I'm gone a lot. And,
Yeah.
I'm busy, and it takes, and she has to take on all of the pain and suffering from pretty much every one of my teammates
Yeah.
as well. So that sucks for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So it's kind of like, I don't know too many people that would actually be overly open to going through it from the start.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be open to it now
Yeah.
because we've had a bit of success and we've had some of these things, and we get to live in nice places and drive
Yeah.
cars, and our kids get to play sports, and we don't have to say no because of money.
Yeah.
But it hasn't always been that way, and there was always a to do it with a hope. That's not easy,
No.
especially when you're not the one driving, you're not the one in control.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been very difficult for her in hindsight. And the second thing is, she grew up in poverty, and I'm pretty sure she was pretty sure I was going to put us back there.
Yeah.
So, which would have been very difficult to keep even pretending to support me
Yeah.
when, there's a lot of unknowns running a business.
Yeah.
So-
It really is.
When she met a guy who was an employee.
Yeah.
So,
What is something that she, like, what's one thing that you guys would argue about on a regular basis that
Oh.
you drive her crazy on?
well, it's more she drives me crazy on this one. Oh, I mean, we can argue about a billion things that I do to her. But the one thing is, I am if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late.
Yeah.
And she likes to just flirt with the exact time, and it drives me crazy. And so finally, we fought about it all the time. I just said, hey, if you don't want to go through this, why don't you just get there 5 minutes early? Like, why do we have to be the first one at the party? Because that's how I'm wired.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to be at the airport 3 hours before our flight? Because it stresses me out.
Yeah.
And I want to get through, and then I go to the lounge, or I'll go do whatever. Or
Yeah.
she's like, I could watch 2 movies while we're waiting. I don't care. This is my quirk. It's the
Yeah.
only thing I care about, really, is being on time.
Yeah. Is that your pet peeve? Like,
That
do
is
you have
my
Your all-time?
All-time pet peeve is being late.
Yeah. Me too. It drives me absolutely crazy.
I hate it. I find it's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to disrespect other people.
Yeah, and it sets the tone.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get over it.
Well,
like, if I'm on a meeting and they're, like, late, I'm like, especially if they just jump on, or there's no, like, hey, I'm sorry, this, it's just
and I understand once in a blue moon, but if that's your brand,
yeah,
I don't like that. And because it's like, what happens if you get a flat tire? What happens if this happens? What happens if there's a car accident? Then you're going to be late.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just going to be on time. You're going to be late. And someone's going to be waiting for you. And you get there and you're flustered.
Yeah.
So all the people that are late, they're always flustered.
Yeah.
And then it takes like 10, 15 minutes for the meeting to actually, or whatever you're doing, to actually be enjoyable.
Yeah, and then now we're all
It's
in
ruined.
your big fucking mess listening to it.
And then you lie.
Yeah.
About why.
Yeah.
It's like, just get up 5 minutes earlier, or just do this, or just do that, or it's like, well, 5 minutes. Like, what's that going to matter in your sleep pattern?
That's right.
Like even Sylvia today was like asking me what time I woke up this morning. She's like, oh, I didn't even see it. I'm like, what's an extra 20 minutes going to matter?
Yeah. In
the whole scheme of my life, it's not. Right? So if I'm up at X time or whatever time, or even I tell myself that, I'm like, oh, if I slept in till 6:30 or I woke up at 5:30, what the heck's going to be the difference? Like, they both suck.
That's right. So, they both do. It doesn't matter.
So, and at least I can check off some of my daily disciplines.
Yeah.
Before everyone else is up in my house.
Yeah. What are kind of your daily 5?
Well, one is reading my goals. One is going to the gym, reading a good book. And I don't really I know some people are like 10 pages or 15 pages. I'm like, I just need to read. So if it's 1 page and it's not my worst day ever, I did my 1 page. Check.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll read 50 pages, whatever. But it's just read a good book. Those are kind of my big 3. And then I want to book a new appointment every day. So I don't need to do an appointment today, but I need to book one today.
No, they're great. So I love that you focus on your mind and body first.
Yeah. Well, because if I'm not feeling good, it's hard to.
It really is.
Deal with the daily nightmares of, like someone quits, or this client is mad, or this, this happens, or someone's down in the dumps, and I mean you can't, help someone out of the ditch by driving in there with them.
No.
Like, at least try to be on the road yourself.
That's right.
So that you can tow them back onto the road. So, and that's not easy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we take a lot of responsibility and pain and suffering from everyone else. So when do we get to have our time?
That's right.
Right. So that's, for me, it's the gym. For me, it's.
I love it. All right. Excuse me. Oh, some air. We have like Bane snoring in here.
He's snoozing away.
He's getting right in there.
Yeah, he's presenting.
Fucking dog.
Butt in our faces.
You got a story for that?
Not really. It just reminds me of, like, obviously back in like high school, or the bush parties and university, like that kind of stuff. Just back in the day with, your friends and all that. Like, that's what it kind of reminds me of before we had all this responsibility.
Yeah. I miss those times, actually.
Yeah, and I do sometimes too. Like, it's different.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to, like, oh fuck, I wish I was just 16 and go in a bush and drink beer and keep my face.
Like, I wish I was 16 and knew what I knew now.
Yeah.
Like, this would be it would be unfair.
It would be.
Yeah.
It really would.
It would be so unfair.
Yeah.
Like, it's just interesting, and I mean, I guess it just reminds it how far we've come, all that kind of stuff. Because I know I got buddies, and that's a loose term with some of these people, but acquaintances, I guess, that they're still there. Like, they haven't grown 1 second since there, and it's, that's tough to watch.
Yeah.
So it's easy. The song just reminds me of, how far we've come and all those kind of things, but then remembering, where you came from and the good old times and all that stuff. So.
You want to pick a card? Those are getting.
Oh, these are.
Wow.
These are something. All right, what do we got here?
I'm scared. Oh, you put that one back.
Oh, what do you think of country music lyrics?
Oh.
That's funny. We just played a country music song. So historically, it's been very depressing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of my dog's running away. I watched it for 4 days.
Yes.
Right, because I'm in the prairies somewhere.
Yeah.
Everyone's girlfriend left them.
Yes. Truck broke down.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking.
Yeah. Tons of walking.
Engine breakdowns. And Ford and Chevy trucks.
Yeah. That's
So but I think today, I think it's that's a lot more, I don't know, mix positive messages, those kind of things. It's not always so sad.
Yeah.
It's like, why are they so sad, these country people?
I know.
Like, only bad things happen to them?
Yeah, that's it.
So, but yeah, that's probably what I think of.
I like it.
That stuff.
We're on your last song. Can you
Okay.
believe it? All right. This is our favorite. Okay, this is our love song.
That's back when we used to go on September long weekends before kids
Yeah,
down to Montana,
yeah,
and we would choreograph "I'm Your Hero" songs.
yeah. By Enrique Iglesias.
Enrique, yeah.
Do you want to answer this question?
Have you ever woke up to someone giving you oral? The answer is no, but I
Sylvia.
keep throwing it out there.
I'll text this to her.
Yeah,
This
she's
is
like,
great.
I don't know, that seems so creepy and weird. And I'm like, not to me.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us today on Music Junkies. But before I let you go, can you leave us some words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I mean, I think if you just keep growing, if you could get into your daily disciplines and just keep doing that kind of stuff, it's fun to be striving for something. Right? It's fun to journey towards a destination. And I know sometimes they say the journey is more important than the destination. Well, that's sort of true. If there's no destination, there's no point in journeying, right? So you got to be going somewhere. But I think you do need to enjoy the ride because we only get one shot at this life. And I guess I would ask, what's it going to be? If you have one life, are you living it to your fullest? Are you really pushing? Are you really trying? Are you really, doing things that scare you, whatever it might be? Are you going to go run a business? I just don't see living a life where I'd be an employee for my whole life and and I have nothing to look forward to, and nothing's going to change for tomorrow, and none of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I would say go enjoy the journey, but go find a destination worth fighting for.
Yeah, that's great words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thanks,
I
Annette.
so appreciate you. Like, follow, subscribe, go stalk him. I'll leave all his socials
That's right.
and his email address on there. And I'll give you
I've never had a stalker
Yeah,
before.
he wants a stalker,
Yeah,
so you know
I
what
need
to do.
one. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.